Let's play Plead the Fifth with Orlando and the Freak Show on WiLD 94.1. Now, who's taking the stand?
The round brown guy, it is Orlando. Ready to take the stand. I'm being sworn in. I got 3 questions that come from the room and 3 questions that come from you. 888-429-0941. Call or text. We got you. I'm shut down over here, so I'm in the dark. I can't see any of the queries.
There's
we
a lot of them.
start in clockwise motion.
Yep.
Davi goes first.
So, basically, I want to know about some wild splash behind the scenes. Specifically, what really piques my interest more is about the baby, because I assume you were like the point of contact that the label and everybody would probably be hitting up and talking about why this man is 2+ hours late. But any behind the scenes kind of, pull the curtain back on some wild splash.
Okay. Let's see. In short, when we book shows, you can book shows with a wage. Like, say, if I want Davi to perform, I can get. It's gonna cost you. Right. So if I want Davi to perform, I can set it up 2 ways. I can do a number where I give you a fee, and then I handle all of your flight, your room, your backline, everything else. Then that means the onus is on me to get you here. Or I can give you an all-in number, which is a little higher, and I say, here's your rate, and here's your money for travel, and here's your money for your hotel. So all of this number is going together. You figure it out. Well, that's what we did, because a lot of our artists would miss flights, and then we would get a phone call having to switch their flights, and we're like, listen, we'll leave it with you. We gave him an all-in number. He chose to fly private. Now, if your set starts at 6, you might want to be on the private plane by 4, maybe by 5.
Latest.
He got on his private plane leaving Atlanta at 6:20.
And he was supposed to be on stage.
Supposed to be on stage at 6.
Oh.
Wow.
He landed at 7:24.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
at Albert Whitted Airport?
No, at TPA, because
Oh,
the flight, the plane that he had wasn't rated with the size that they need, because they only do Cessnas and very small planes at Albert Whitted Park. So we had to get him from point A to point B, from TPA to Albert Whitted Park, fast enough to get on stage. And while that conversation was happening, I'm back there with the police force, because our cutoff was supposed to be at 7:30. With him landing at 7:24, he now had 6 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
So they were like, all right, we're giving you till 8 o'clock. And there was a lot of debate back and forth. He ended up they worked really closely with us, and honestly, I got to shout out the police department, Chief Holloway, Major Mac, everybody who pretty much gave in on their beliefs and let us go till 8:30.
His name is Major Mac.
That's a badass name.
That is the best name.
Major Mac.
Major Mac was on site because Chief Holloway was on vacation. And he's like, I'm going to get a call on Monday morning. Why are y'all still out here doing the hippity hop? So yeah.
How, 2 more real quick follow-up questions. How long was his set supposed to be compared to what it ended up being? And does he get his pay docked for only doing...
That's Buck's question.
Oh, that was your question?
But it's all good. Go. I got another one.
Well, we can just, we'll move it on over.
Davi gets 3 questions.
Yeah.
All right. What was his? He was supposed to be an hour.
Yeah.
Supposed to go on at 6, be done at 7.
Okay.
That's why we put all of the times up so everybody can know when people were going to perform. And the other thing was...
But how long did he end up doing?
He ended up doing 8 o'clock till 8:30.
Okay.
And the police cut him off exactly at 8:30.
So half the show, half the money?
They told... yeah, absolutely. Because, his rate, we sent him 50% ahead of time.
Okay.
Like any performer, we do that. And then on the day of show, they either get it or it's mailed out to them. We were supposed to forward them a check today for the second half, and that half will be cut in half.
Do you think you're going to hear anything back?
I think we will.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm totally ready for that smoke.
Yeah.
You can't do half your job and get your whole pay.
You think he'll expect full pay?
I believe he will, because we've seen him not be exactly the most clear-headed person about a lot of things.
And
But
again,
I'm
we
not
were
scared of the baby. I'm back in my office now. Our door is locked.
We got security.
I'm fine. You got to spend more money to come get me,
Yeah.
dog. So know. And if you coming to shoot me, you might come late.
Yeah.
Because apparently you don't understand timing. So
we were supposed to be
whatever.
wrapped by 7, correct?
We were supposed to be done by 7.
Okay.
And so the lighting, police have to deal with a lot. They're like, you have 6,500 folks out here. When it gets dark, they ain't lights up around here to get all these people out of here. We're not prepared for that. Now, like, and we don't want that, and we wanted everybody safe too, so it worked out. But the police were tremendously helpful with that because his manager was backstage, like dealing with the whole thing, and you could tell he had dealt with this hundreds of times because he had every answer, and they were like, "I bet you deal with this a lot." He's like, "Yeah."
So the manager came beforehand?
Yeah, the manager was there with
He
us
was walking
the whole time.
around. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's here," and I was like,
The manager was there at 4:30.
Just like the backup dancers.
Yeah, Arnold was walking around like, "Yo, man, here's what we got going on, blah, blah, blah. He'll be here, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like,
Well, backstage, everybody thought that he was already there, and I was like, no, DeBaby's not here.
No, he's not here.
Like,
That's just
'cause
Arnold.
management is here doesn't mean he's here.
Yeah, so that was the deal with that. All right, you next.
All right, so you had
Sorry about that.
No, you had part of my question, but I'm going to flip it a little bit.
Okay.
On the positive side, what was the biggest surprise of Wild Splash that you actually couldn't believe? Like, it was very nice.
I mean, the venue, honestly, once it got, everybody got in and stuff, and when you started walking around, like if you came in back by the dolly and just looking at all that water and all of the people, it was a sexy look.
Yeah, it did.
The other surprises were just, I was surprised that when we put certain things together or stuff, we hope things happen. Like we'll put different people on the lineup and then be like, man, I hope they do something together. Like Blast was coming, and then so Buddy, was like trying to get on the lineup so he could pop out and do a song, his song with Blast. So we never know how those things are going to maneuver. And when we put Ellie the GOAT on, I just knew that him and Chris and everybody else was going to try and do something for the city.
Yep.
And just do something for like artists to just to be able to touch the stage. And yesterday, a lot of people spoke to the fact that Ellie the GOAT, Tom G, Buck Sosa, Priceless Scott, a whole thing with Busta Bus. I mean, just that whole thing kind of that was their day. They said, yo, I love DaBaby, I love Lotto, but that Tampa set is always something that, makes them excited. And it made me excited because they got a chance to use our stage to touch the city and do something in a major way. So I did like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. I want to know about some more drama. Enough with the good stuff.
Okay,
so you explained the whole DaBaby situation. That sounds like a mess, and especially since you had to deal with it. I'm sure some other things happened backstage. Can you give me anything else, one or two things, any other drama, any other situations that you the fires that you had to put out, whether it was from the artists or whatever?
Honestly, it wasn't a lot of drama going on back there. I mean, there was somebody who got caught in one because we had dressing rooms that were RVs.
Yeah.
And DaBaby's dressing room really wasn't used too much except when the management got there. But when they got there, somebody, I don't think it wasn't our staff, but somebody who was a staff participant back there, either a volunteer or of the city or something, was smashing in one of the RVs.
Oh.
Wow.
They had made their way into an RV and was just in there cutting. And so somebody went in there to make sure that all of the stuff was ready because they thought DaBaby was on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And they went in there and they was full on into the monkey.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The RV was rocking.
It was rocking. It was rocking. Yeah. I think they got asked to leave.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, after they finished.
Yeah. I'm going to let you finish, but.
All right, so that is 3 questions from the room. I have 3 questions from you. Plead the shout out to Jazzy's Barbecue on Good Morning America for the barbecue battle up there, and we're getting hungry.
Yes.
Yeah, so Buck might have to make a call and get us some action. All right, so we've gotten 3 questions, Wild Splash kind of related, all of the info on the baby and why he was late and why we personally hate him.
We don't know
Right
why
now.
he was late, by the way.
Listen, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, he did his thing or whatever, but it was a mess. So, the baby question, your question was
Highs and lows.
The highlight. I wanted to know, the
highlight.
really good thing.
Yeah,
unexpected.
highlight. We talked about the Tampa set. That
Extra
was
drama for me.
Extra drama, the 2 people hunching in the RV. And
Makes
so
sense.
now we got questions from the audience.
Yes.
Let's see what we got.
This one's from Nancy in Apollo Beach. I would like to ask Orlando a little bit about DaBaby because while we were waiting, you went up on stage saying that you were going to throw water into the crowd, and I didn't see you come back. Can you please explain the whole water situation at Wild Splash?
Okay. When I went out there to make the announcement, people started saying, we need water, we need water. And I was like, yeah, we can easily do that. Because that was an easy fix. I'm like, I'm out here telling y'all the baby just landed. We're getting him here in like 20 minutes or so. And they were like, okay, but can we get water? So I come off the stage, and I found out that there was no water because of this 2-hour extension. We were past our time. They had basically said, okay, we need enough to get to this certain time. We're out of water. So I go back there. I give my credit card to Darian. She takes off to go buy water from CVS and buys a bunch of water, brings it back. While they do that, I'm back there with the police trying to get us extra time because he's not going to be there in time. So I got pulled away to go deal with that. When I came back to the stage, there's a bunch of cases of water back there, and the baby's running on stage.
There you go.
So it was kind of like, so I whoever left the park with a lot of water left with my water. I got the receipt, and I got my credit card back, and the baby ran up on stage.
Ooh,
so that's just where it was. So it's a lot of juggling during that kind of stuff where you're stretching. I mean, we had one area where somebody was late, and Young Dread and Richie were able to jump up and go up and perform. Because C Nasty had their music queued up, so they helped us, kind of like fill some voids and stuff too. So it's all a juggling match. If I'm out there saying, hey, I'll throw out water, like, please believe. I ran back there. It was like, yo, there's no water. What do you mean there's no water? I'm like, well, give us some warm water. Where is the water? And they didn't have any more.
Yeah.
Hey, we noticed there was a lot of people backstage who should have been backstage. So we had a lot of extra people tapping into our resources.
It was all kinds. I saw all kind of people back there. I was like, and I ain't even, that was the one thing. It was a lot harder to keep that backstage, like, tight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because people were sliding through. I'm like, I didn't even see badges on people. I'm like, who are you? How
More
did
so
you get
than
back
ever.
here?
Yeah.
I was bumping into people like I bumped into my barber Kim. And I'm like, hey, what you doing? She's like, yo, I'm over here, dog. It's all good. I'm like, ain't you supposed to be over there? Like, so yeah, it was wiggle room in there.
We got a text out the 813. It says, Orlando, I'm getting weight loss surgery later this summer. I'm wondering, will I see an increase in my package? Did you notice an increase after you had all this weight loss?
Well, it's like a car mirror. Things appear bigger in the mirror. No, I mean, here's the deal. When you lose weight, it doesn't get bigger, but it just clears away the hedges. So, like, for instance, if you have extra weight, your thighs are thicker and your stomach is bigger. But when you start to remove all that stuff, everything else that's there is a little bit more pronounced now. So you do end up being blessed when you take they say every like 50 pounds is like another inch.
Whoa, and ladies, are we taking notes right now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. So I lost 157 pounds, so do the math. We got calls over here with people on hold. You want me to answer? I don't know any names because they're all shut down.
Jeremy is online too, I believe. Yes.
Jeremy got a question for me. What's going on?
Hey, Orlando.
Hey.
My question is, of all of the people you've ever seen perform at Wild Splash, who would you not want to see perform again, either based on drama or based on their demeanor on stage?
I mean, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Kevin Gates, because when Kevin Gates performed, it was like a brawl that broke out. So it was really about his security team, but they just went, a little bit too aggressive
with our team
and ended up like, putting hands on our production guy who was out there doing his job. But they were like, don't come across the stage. He's like, dude, I'm the one who's controlling the microphones. I got to be out here. And he did it again, and they just jumped him. And I was just like, yeah, we won't play that game anymore. So we've sat down with our guy, and he's like, as we were looking at artists, somebody mentioned his name, and he just looked at me. I'm like, nope, we're not going there. And he feels more comfortable that we got his back and won't be bringing back somebody who makes that kind of decision. So that probably was the person that, and I love, the new song he got, but I'm like, yo, we just can't do it because he kind of broke that trust.
Dang.
Yeah. So I appreciate the question, man.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's see. There's somebody else on hold over here.
That's a wrap. Now,
okay.
Yeah, right. That's you good.
All right, because that's the third one.
That's the third one.
Any boomerangs?
Yeah.
All right. What was your highlight of Wild Splash?
Okay.
Or what was your most memorable What did you ask? Like, what was
Okay,
the
I got
shocking,
one.
What was the most shocking revelation about Wild Splash?
Okay, I got one.
What do
The most shocking thing that happened, Babs and I were up on stage, so excited to see Lotto hit the stage, and she killed it, right? Had the whole crowd up, and I knew for a fact, because you had mentioned this, that she was heading on out real quick to go to the Billboard Awards because she was performing. Anyway, so at the end of her set, we knew like that was her last song, so Babs and I run off stage because we were on stage, and we find her as she's running out with her team, and we're like, hey, can we just get one picture? Because she's about to get on the Sprinter and go to the airport. And we're like, hey, can we please just get one picture, blah, blah, blah. And her team looks at us, and she looks at us, and her team goes, that'll be $200 if you want a picture. $200 for a picture with Lotto.
What do you mean? Like 200 in cash? Are you supposed to cash app it or?
I didn't ask.
What? How did?
She was still walking.
Y'all didn't pay it?
No.
I wonder would they have taken it?
Probably cash, I'm assuming.
$200?
Yeah.
For a picture?
So we didn't get a picture.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I've never heard of somebody taxing at our show for a picture.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Was that like maybe it was a lot of people around? Like
No.
if you got one, everybody would have won in one, so they shut you down with
I
the
thought
200?
so, but really there was. It's kind of me making an excuse. There was literally nobody else around besides me and Babs because we saw the Sprinter, we knew where she was walking off over to the side, and we were right there. And yeah, they were charging like $200 for photos.
Oh man, that's so disappointing.
That's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
nasty.
Yeah.
It was
That's
her
kinda
team.
nasty.
Yeah. Then we blink, and then they're still walking, and then they left. I was like, okay.
Okay.
For me, on a positive note, when Hot Boy took the stage, I felt like the whole mood changed. I feel like he brought it. You know,
He did.
As soon as he hit, I was like, oh, okay, it's go time now.
Yeah.
And then kind of a negative thing was when LA the Goat came on, I was on stage doing some photos, and I didn't know he was going to bring all the Tampa rappers on stage.
Yeah,
with
he
him.
brought everybody up.
So I was on stage doing photos, and I kind of lost some room, and those guys almost pushed me off the stage.
Oh, damn.
So I had to get up out of there.
almost
They had to be like,
bumped.
look at Buck crowd surfing. He's really into this.
Yeah.
For me, so I had to leave Wild Splash early, unfortunately. So I knew that like I wanted to take advantage of every minute I had there. So I did a lot of time like in the crowd, meeting listeners, meeting the people that came through.
Did you see David from Arcadia?
I did, yeah. A couple times, like you, and Stiffy were like pointing me in the direction of like people that I should go talk to, people that I should go meet. I saw my boy Tondrick out there
That's
in the
awesome.
crowd. So for me, it was just like walking around in the general in the general admission area and just flicking it up with the people that came out.
Davi just had a prison reference right in the middle of that.
Gin
I just want y'all to
pop.
know. He said gin pop. I know somebody driving was like, did that ever just say he walked around gin pop?
Davi's hanging out.
G.
Who you hanging out with lately?
Is a G. Wow, just bread and water around this boy. Like, all right, that is a wrap with
Orlando and the Freak Show.